Hello guys, my name is Eric Sztygiel and this is Art Talk number 1 with special guest Najmul Alam Osmani. A little disclaimer, I had to do the intro like after the fact, after the stream, because there were a lot of problems with audio, and for the first I guess 15 minutes we were like fighting with all the stream settings, like how to place everything properly, how to turn on microphones and pretty much everything. And it turns out there were a lot of echo and a lot of different problems with the sound quality and the sound volume. So for the biggest part of the stream, the sound from my side is kind of crappy, because even like I am way too quiet, or then I have like a lot of background noise. So there were a little bit of problems. So if you just want to listen to us, you just need to prepare the audio quality is kind of shit. But if you're just interested in art, and if you are just interested to see what type of art Najmul is doing, I guess it should be fine. So also in here is a small presentation of his artworks, so you can see what type of artist he is and how good he actually is. And soon there will be some sketches from Diablo that were the first art I have ever seen from him, and they were completely amazing. So I hope you will also find them amazing, and maybe you will find the stream interesting. And I guess the way more streams are about to come. Next time I will make sure the audio will be like on a way better quality. And in here you can see the sketches from the Diablo. They are from 2015, and I to this day think they are one of the best sketches I have ever seen, and I extremely like them. So it was kind of natural for the stream that he was painting Diablo, and you will be able to see how he did his own version of Diablo, or how he painted Diablo the way he liked to paint. So I hope you will learn something. Just enjoy watching, and just bear with the audio problems. Like, I have to learn how to use it properly. And the first 7 minutes of the video had to be sped up to like 30 seconds, because in this part there were like a lot of crazy echo problems. So it is silent, but you will see how the sketch began instead of just trimming it. Try saying something now, because like I can hear you clearly. I have no idea where the problem is coming from.
Hey guys, is my word being repeated 5 times? Anything I'm saying?
All the things.
How's the sound from my end? Yeah, I'm talking. The mic on the PC.
Okay,
so
maybe
yes.
Now it will work, because I switched some microphones in terms of the like quality. Maybe it will work now. Okay. I guess it should be better like in some seconds.
Huge echo on my side.
Yeah,
How come?
maybe I messed up something with the stream. Like maybe I doubled like the output for you or something like this, but I don't think I have done this. But let's see.
I don't know if this is going to make a difference, but I've moved the phone away from my mic.
I guess it might be my fault, because I had like two sources. Okay, I had like two sources, I guess, for your voice, and I guess they were repeating like each other. So I guess it should be fine now.
Sorry, I'm just...
Okay, so I have once again no idea what you heard, what you have not heard. So could you repeat everything?
Yeah, so that's fine. It's fine. What was I saying? I can't even remember my train of thought. Yeah. So how I started out? I think 2009. You know, I came into the digital art world. I was in CG Hub. There was like cool community events taking place there, like Dominance War and all of these other cool community activities on CG Hub and stuff, right? So I kind of came into the digital art scene from 2009, and then from there, actually, you know what? Before that, actually, you mentioned Diablo fan art and stuff, right? I was actually on a website called DiabloFans.com, right? And I was uploading fan art into that. So when I actually started this digital art journey, right, I bought myself a Wacom, and then I kind of uploaded fan art onto that website. And then from there, I kind of started Googling around, and I found all of these other cool websites like CG Hub and stuff, right? So I was essentially doing fan art, on just a random fan art site to start things off with. And then from then, it's just, I've just been kind of a little bit active in the community, deviant art a little bit, and then from then I was just kind of like building up my skill sets and stuff over the year. Everyone was kind of uploading all of this awesome studies on their blogs and everything, and I was trying to kind of do that for myself as well. And then after a long while, I mean, it took me ages to get any better at this art stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's a problem for everybody. It's like it takes forever to learn something in terms of art and everything.
Oh my gosh, I feel so slow with it, and I'm still like doing studies and trying to improve my skill sets. And now you just find all of these people on ArtStation and stuff, and they're like 10 years old, and they just got this badass portfolios,
how many
man.
times I had this problem. Like I feel like, okay, I'm going somewhere, I can do something with my skills now, and then I see someone uploads like way better artwork, and usually I just do it like from the habit, I guess. I pretty much just go and try to see how old they are, and they are. Wait, I need to close my window. And then I learned they're like 18 or something like this, and then I am wondering like what I was doing for like my entire life, like how they are this good at this age.
I know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I guess like the biggest artist, like one of the artists that were like the most depressing for me, and at the same time like really like pushing myself, like I had to push myself because of them, was my Miles Johnston. You know him, I guess.
Yeah.
He's like 1 year older from me, like he's 27 now or 26 or something like this, and I am 26, and it was like always the impossible standard for me. Like at 18, I guess, on DeviantArt you could see his like oil paintings that were looking like museum grade in terms of quality. And
oh my gosh, it's just unbelievable. So he's got like a charcoal sketch series or moleskin drawings that he uploads from time to time. It's just so good, man. It's just so good.
Small, like I always thought like they are like half a meter for half a meter or something like this, but it turns out they are like extremely tiny sketches. Like the sketchbooks are really small. He is just using the mechanical pencil and just does all these crazy details. So
I'm interested actually to see those drawings because give me a sec. On a moleskin, right? Everything. I mean, I used to draw in a moleskin quite a bit before as well, and I look at my moleskin drawings, right, sketchbook drawings, and they look all right. I'm quite pleased with them. But then as soon as I upload it, as soon as I upload it and take a picture of it and put it on the net, I look back at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? What the heck is this drawing? Like, this is the worst drawing I've ever done. Why does it look like this for? And then so other people
even showcase a little bit of these works. Like maybe there were some traditional sketches from the moleskins. Like you're talking about the ones you were doing to your, like when you were at the bus to your work. So I put like I guess 2 or 4 of them, and later I will like repeat the whole images because I guess the microphone was not working back then. But yeah, I guess it's crazy. And also for moleskins, I always wanted to try one, but in Poland they are so extremely expensive. Like they are dumb expensive, because like
Yeah, they are.
with Moleskine, like I have no idea how many it costs in UK.
Yeah, it costs a lot, man. It's not worth it. I mean, the best thing to do is just get like a one of them cheap alternative ones,
Yeah, because
just
like
any old
once when
scrapbook
I
or
saw
something.
like the Maya sketches, I was like, okay, Moleskine it is. If with the Moleskine I will have like the best skills ever, it's all the sketchbook. No, it's not the skills, it's the sketchbook. And in the shop, the like the cashier told me it costs around 80 zloty or something like this. And for 80 zloty, if you like kinda manage, you can live for the whole week in Poland, like without any problems. And I was like, okay, so no more skin for me then, so it will be a problem. And also
That's
there's a
crazy, man.
question: can you teach how to paint with texture, kind of like Aaron Griffin? So maybe you can talk something about your brushwork, because I guess all the topics will come out kind of naturally.
Yeah, I can get into some of the side
Yeah,
stuff.
so I guess just show us your brushes, because everybody knows that brushes are the most important thing for the artist, and like you have to have good brushes to make good artwork. It's obvious.
Of course, man. So I'm not gonna lie. No matter how many times I hear people say, "Oh, it's not about brushes" or anything like that. I love brushes, man. I can't stop talking about them. I can't stop perusing other people's brush sets and stuff. And so yeah, like even my brush set that I've got at the moment here, they're probably a mixed bag of brushes that I've stolen off every other artist in the industry. So the problem is you have tons of brushes, but you end up only using a couple
Yeah,
anyway,
it's same for
right?
me.
So
Like recently, decided I want to go a little bit more with some traditional look, and I downloaded a lot of brushes. And at the moment, I have like 200 brushes, and in the end, I am using like 5 of them maybe, just for the studies, and we'll see how many more I can like remove from the file. But yeah,
yeah, exactly. So I mean, like with these, I've got the some of the regular stuff. Hard round, I probably use that one quite often. Hard square is good for the edges, hard edges. Soft round, you got to have your fog brush there to kind of soften up the edges or backgrounds or fog and stuff.
yeah, but it looks really like a really basic. So, oh, I know this brush.
This one's a popular one. I like this one
Yeah,
for
it's
the
like
texture.
the
So
most typical brush you can see in pretty much every single set. But yeah, it's great. I was using it for quite a long time.
this one, however, I have, I think, quite a few of the paintings that you might have shown or put up, of my stuff is done with this. I kind of like this one because it's got a thick, oily kind of look about it. Yeah, and it's just pretty fun. I kind of like stuff that looks messy, only because it hides some of the problems in my drawing ability. So yeah, it's good for that. And you can kind of start very loose with it, like how some people might do in like one of these alla prima type
I
paintings,
remember you
and then
talking
you can.
about alla prima, like back then, when you just wanted to paint every single thing without using any adjustments and everything, like just pure painting.
Yeah, exactly that. And then you can when you start off. This brush is good for when you want to start off something loose and then kind of refine it as you go. And I tend to gravitate towards other artists or painters who kind of paint more like that, right? Who maybe start off with big broad brush strokes rather than like clean fine line art, and then kind of paint underneath the line art precisely. I'm not as I'm not as keen, for that type of artwork. But I mean, at the end of the day, like that's only because of my own, shortfalls. Like cleaning up line art takes so long. So by the time if you do like a quick sketchy painting with like one of these broad texture brushes, sometimes you feel as though you can almost get a faster completed look about it, before in a short
Wait,
time.
wait a minute, because someone just wrote I'm way like more silent. Like, can you hear me properly, or am I silent?
I can hear you quite clearly. I think with me though, maybe my mic is a bit
No,
louder.
No, probably it's just me because like I have the really basic settings and I had problems with this microphone being quiet for quite a long time. I will try to change the audio input, and I went with the cam microphone, so I guess maybe it will work a little bit better. So if anybody can tell me if they can hear me now a little bit more clear, it will be great. And I guess I will have to wait for the delay to do its deed, to do its job. Okay, I guess it should work now a little bit better. Okay, so I just continue. We will.
It should be okay. Like, if I can hear you well, then I think everybody else maybe could. But I'm in a live call with you anyway. These guys are hearing me from the stream, aren't they?
Okay, so it's better. Also, maybe it's just a stream thing. I will have to like figure it out. And yeah, and for the brushes, when like you are painting, like the process you prefer is like to go from the black and white and then color, or is just pure random? Because as far as I know, like you are quite good with the colors and everything, and you are quite good with doing all these highlights and everything. So what is like the... Okay, much better now, so I guess I will just have to stick to the different microphone. What is like your take on the process? Like,
Processes, man! I could talk to you all day about processes. You know, other artist buddies and stuff, right? When they hear me talk about processes, right? You know, these guys start face palming. Like they've had it with me talking about processes all the time, because instead of saying like, improve my drawing ability, studying, improving my fundamentals and stuff.
I need to switch to the headphones because like changing the microphone caused the echo to come back. So I will need to like go with this stuff. Okay, can you say something?
Me?
Yeah, okay, now there should be no echo at all.
Yep.
Yeah, so just continue, I guess.
Yeah, no problem, man. So yeah, I was saying like when it comes to process, I keep talking about processes all the time, and these guys are fed up with me talking about processes, because what's more important is actually your understanding of the fundamentals, your values and perspective, and whether it's anatomy knowledge or your visual library and all of this important stuff, right? So I still think process is important, because sometimes when you look at other artists, right, and especially artists you admire, and they might work in a specific way. Sometimes it's not even painting. Sometimes it's like concept art, and some people go through 3D and all of this stuff, and with 3D and photo bashing, and whether it's line art to painting underneath that. I think there's a lot to learn from different people's processes and stuff. So for me, like I've worked with so many different ways of painting and stuff. I've literally tried them all. But something that I kind of like doing myself, or keep coming back to, is I'd start like this pretty much with like a comic book style, where I'm doing like a sort of a rough black and white, a very rough black and white, and then I try to get into color quite early, so I'd get the basic shape and values sorted, like a 2-tone black and white sorted, maybe even 3-tone black and white sorted on the first layer, and then underneath that I'd work up maybe like some flat colors or something, and as soon as I'd get a rough color layout, I tend to, especially if I'm doing like sketches and stuff that doesn't require like too much planning, I tend to like flatten it and then slowly build up over that. So when it comes to processes,
I kind of also guess like the better you are, like as you said, with the understanding of all the fundamentals, like the perspective and yada yada and everything, the less you care about what kind of process you have. Like you pretty much can always like do something with it. Like there's no saying that if you mess up like the one stage of the process, there's no way you will not recover from it. Like it will always be, like there will be no problems for you to just make still something cool. So I guess, it's quite obvious things. And for the artists, what were like your early heroes in terms of art? Like who you looked up to most, or look up now, or whatever?
I'm probably going to be mentioning like some typical names, right? So you know what? Actually, very early on, I remember when I, kind of jumped on all of these, CG Hub and all of this stuff, right? You had like Dave Raposa and these guys, right, who did like really detailed, awesome illustrations of like fan arty stuff. And I loved all of that. That stuff was just amazing to me. So any artist who had like, super detailed renders, Alex Negria, this guy, I love this guy's work.
He was doing a lot for Warhammer, right?
I'm not sure about Warhammer. I'm not sure Warhammer. He did a lot of, the card artwork, Legend of the Cryptids and stuff like that. And, he did crazy studies as well. He's the one who did like 500 hands a day and, all of this crazy studies. But I remember he kind of looked up to another artist who did like very photographic type of rendering, which was Johannes, Alden, Flegger. I can't. Johannes. I'm just gonna say Johannes because I can't remember his how to pronounce his second name.
I remember the name, but I have no idea and no recollection how, like, what he was doing.
So, if you come across his work, you'd notice like this guy, when it comes to like rendering, and his mind is like a 3D, like a 3D rendering software. Like he can spit out these amazing like photorealistic painting, and he's got it all in his mind. And the studies he was doing was like so hardcore, like realistic studying. And so that was kind of coming from that perspective early on. But I never thought it was my natural kind of style. I was always a very imaginative type of, what's the word? Inventive drawing. So I'd draw a lot from my mind and stuff, right? And so I would kind of, then I was following a lot of, the East Asian type of kind of style and artwork, right? I'd come across, the Blizzard artists. I used to love the Blizzard artist, Wei Wang. Wei Wang was like one of the, biggest kind of, art heroes for me.
Yeah, in my youth, I was like all the time with a friend of mine. He's watching currently. We were like sitting, like playing Diablo, then like doing live action Diablo, like kids playing, and then we were drawing Diablo to the music from Diablo. And I guess
Oh mate, his work. I don't know if there were like loading screens and stuff. Like before I came into the whole like online digital art world, I was playing World of Warcraft like anything, man. I spent there was like 2 years of my life lost on that game.
It's the only game I was completely avoiding because I was aware what this will do with me and with my spare time and anything, and I knew I will get addicted way too heavily to the World of Warcraft. And with some miracle, I managed to not play World of Warcraft. So it's a win for me.
Yeah, good on you, man. Like that was my first and I think my only like major foray into like the kind of MMA and online gaming and stuff, right? And I was like super addicted. And I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy it. I loved it. It was really good. But in terms of like art stuff and everything, right? You can put a serious what's the word? Block your kind of hinder your path to studying and stuff. So but nevertheless, like the art was so inspiring. I loved all of the art, Wei Wang and stuff, and this kind of led me on to like one of my hero artists who I still to this day like look up to all the time, right? Who's Ranjia, he's Chinese artist.
He is actually crazy, I guess. Like the quality he produces is absolutely insane. Like pretty much you cannot say a bad thing about any of his work. Like it's just way too good, I guess. But he's not doing for Blizzard or anything like this.
He did a few works for Blizzard,
Uh-huh.
but he wasn't like part of the Blizzard team or anything like that. If he worked for like a company, he was working
Uh-huh.
for Guild Wars. So he
Okay.
was on Guild Wars,
Nice.
which was really cool. Like
Hmm.
yeah, and I kind of I went to the Trojan horse, the unicorn.
Yeah, I wanted to go to this, but the tickets were extremely expensive when you like
Oh
do
my
all
gosh.
the money recalculation. I forgot the word. But yeah, the only festival I have ever been was the Promised Land, and
Oh right,
a lot of
right.
people
How is
a
that?
lot of people actually said it was the best festival like ever. They attended, and a lot of this guy who like said it were at the THU also. But I guess it's kind of pretty much everybody says something like this about every festival they are on. But yeah, it was
What?
really nice. It was really informative and way cheaper than THU. So it's nice.
Where was that?
It was in Łódź, Poland. It's like a city next to the Warsaw, I guess, to the capital. So from my place, it was like 5 or 6 hours with the tram and bus and everything. I don't remember, to be honest, how I got there. But yeah,
So is um is that still does that still go on there? Is that
they it was no Promised Land like the 1 year ago, I guess, because they had to because it's organized by CD Projekt Red, and they
right?
wanted to focus all their forces on the cyberpunk, so they said they won't do it the last year, and this year I guess it will also won't happen because of the COVID and everything. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but I guess it was like the third or fourth edition or something like this. It was quite a new type of, I'm forgetting words, of festival.
Oh
Yeah,
right.
it was quite new, a festival. So I guess
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I heard that it was really good as well. So, and yeah, man, I would have liked to have gone to all of them, and but again, like they all seemed quite expensive. So I went to the I went to THU, and actually I went to a few schoolism courses which were quite local to us, and they were really awesome as well. And man, I loved it. Kind of engaging with your art heroes or your the community and stuff was really good.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you can meet those people like in person, and the greatest thing is like you always think about them like some sort of super entities, like they are the
Yeah,
best artists,
yeah,
and then you just go
yeah,
meet them, and turns out it's like they are really basic humans, like they are just a human, and there is nothing turbo special about them if we like won't count their skills in terms of painting. But yeah.
yeah. I mean, like they were, they were so nice as well. Well, my experience of them were really nice, and with me, I'm like I start fanboying like anything, Like when I met Ranji in THU, dude, I was like following dude around like a creep, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wherever this guy went, I was there, like just entourage, like at the back somewhere, lurking
It was
around with
pretty
like.
much the same for me on the Promised Land, because like I only knew like one person, and Spiridon.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
or Spirit, I don't remember if I like said his name correctly, but he was like the only person I kinda knew out there, because like I commented some of his statuses, and when I like finally met him like live, I was like, okay, now I will stick to you, and like I will always be like 50 meters from you or something, so I will kind of know where to go or where something interesting is happening, because he was like the brain, and he knew pretty much everybody in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice.
He's not an artist, is he? He does a lot of the design publishing kind
Yeah,
of
I
side of
guess if
things, right?
you call like logo design and doing all the book stuff and art, then I guess he will be. But I kind of think he will describe himself as a designer more. something like this. And I also remember I met like even Mel Amundsen, and he was also extremely nice. And the amount of drawings he did, like during the Promised Land, like he was constantly sitting and sketching and everything. It was a lot, but Peter Han, he was like drawing 24/7. Like he was sitting and talking with someone, and he was drawing, and he was doing something. He was drawing. He was doing classes between meets and everything, and you pretty much just could sit and talk with him all the time.
Wow.
So he was also like one of the nicest people I have ever met, and extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like he knew shitload of things.
Oh yeah. I've heard his quite a few of his tutorials and stuff. I've heard him, and yeah, dude is the powerhouse in knowledge, and the way he speaks as well. It's like, you know, he's had a lot of experience teaching classes.
Yeah, like just by talking with him for like 5 seconds, I guess it gave me a lot of ideas how to teach properly, because I am also a teacher at the domain school nice in here. I prepare people for exams and everything. And after like meeting him, I was like, okay, so this is how you teach, this is how you approach people. So it was like extremely informative in my case.
Yeah.
But the only person like remember, like I was completely starstruck, because I felt like, okay, I have no problems approaching Peter Han, I have no problems approaching like Evan Mel Amundsen or Diego Gisberto, Lores, or pretty much whatever. Like I had no problems. But when I saw Furio Tedeschi, I guess it was Tedeschi. It had this weird pronunciation. I was like, I was like completely starstruck, and like when we were at some sort of a pub, because after each day there were like different pub like reserved for us. So I was like standing outside, like drinking beer and talking to myself like, okay, just go. You will meet him, like, okay, no problem. And after like of 10 minutes of hyping up, I like approached the group he was standing in, and I introduced myself. We just talked for like 1 minute, and like the whole group decided to go inside, and I was like, shit, like 10 minutes of hyping, and I just said like 2 words or something like this. But yeah, the level of skill with Furio Tedeschi was way too big, in my opinion, to just not be starstruck. But yeah.
See, you know, he's the ultimate ZBrush guy, right?
Yes, I guess he can do pretty much everything in ZBrush. Like the quality he produces in ZBrush is also like way too good. Like I think. But what was funny about him, he was like so extremely chill. Like he was the chillest guy I guess I have ever met. Like he was like just walking chill. Like there was nothing I guess that could cause problems to him. Like he was chill all the time, and he was laughing all the time. So I guess one day maybe if I will like, or you will be among the greatest artists on the whole world, I guess then he will be one of the nicest persons to like meet or talk to. So yeah.
Like I don't, you know, I think now I'm kind of getting into ZBrush quite a bit more, and you know, I've kind of I use it here and there. I follow Rafael Grassetti and some of these other guys, and I remember seeing Furio's work, you know, before, and yeah, he's got like so much detail. He's worked in like every movie. He's worked in a lot of movies and stuff, right?
In pretty much every single movie at the moment. But yeah, but for the software, like what type of software you are using? Because like back then you were just pretty much using only like Photoshop, I guess.
Yeah, so with me, I was kind of very late to branching out on software. You know, like now I think everyone kind of jumps through like 10 different softwares. That, you know, they well for concept work anyway, and they get like amazing stuff done. So at the moment, I'm trying to get on those type of workflows now as well, where I'm using a bit of Blender or maybe a bit of ZBrush, depending on what it is, and then using photos and then painting on top, and just trying to use different approaches. And that's with my work stuff, right? So I don't know if I've said I work for Rebellion Developments as a concept artist, and I don't think I've got any of the work that I've done for them like online or anything yet. So I really need to update my portfolio and stuff. But yeah, like so I've been with them for like 5 years. I want to say 5 years now, and I started with them as a marketing illustrator, and then kind of branched into concept art. So yeah, like since working for them and stuff, right? There was other concept artists who I was like really close friends with. Like there's a guy, Jack Eves, right? He actually, I want to say he was like responsible for getting me a job there. Like he recommended me, and then I kind of I got the job there as a marketing artist, and then from then. Yeah, it's just that's been my kind of professional life, really. Working as a concept artist for Rebellion, and
like you
prior to that,
are still working in Rebellion, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I have a quick question. Do you maybe have a window open, and do you maybe hear this car?
Yeah, I can hear the car. Is that from my end or yours?
I guess it's from yours.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's not a car alarm, it's the laundrette next door.
Oh my gosh. It's
yeah. Because
yeah,
it's going
always
like
something,
for
isn't
like
it?
20 minutes now, and I try to ignore it, but I guess my brain is slowly giving up with this.
It's funny.
I don't know what to do. Do you think you can close the side window, please?
You have to, even if it closes all the windows, trust me, you still use it.
I don't think I can do anything
Oh,
about
okay,
it.
so it's just a car in the background then. So
it's actually next door. I live next door to a laundrette, and the alarm there is going off for some reason.
Yeah, I know, it's giving us a
yeah,
headache.
because also in UK, like pretty much every single house.
Somebody there?
I know, she's that passers by, so.
Yeah, I think it's just one of them things, man. Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah.
Anything that can go wrong, it will go
But
wrong.
it's still, from the technical point of view, it went pretty smoothly for the first stream. So I guess, yeah, it is nice.
Yes. Sorry
Yeah,
about
no
that.
problem.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if
Okay,
anybody will rewatch this video or something, like they will have a really hard time listening to it, but we will see who is like the tough guy or the tough girl then. Yeah. And like for the software, you pretty much just decided you just want to broaden your skills, like nothing more.
Yeah. So yeah, I've jumped in with quite a bunch of different softwares actually. I was trying Blender out, been using Blender, ZBrush. I even tried. What was it? I tried using some of these CAD softwares. Just for free trial. So I had to go with like Moi and a tiny bit of Fusion 360 and stuff. But yeah, there's nothing to show or anything with those. But yeah, I'm really trying to kind of like branch out with those.
Just for the software, it was like exactly the same for me. Like I kind of believe like I tried pretty much every single software, and in the end, like it turns out you only need to like be able to make a block or a square in a 3D and place it somewhere, and just make some extremely basic renders, and it's more than enough, to be honest, for an illustrator.
You know what? Yeah, I think so too. Because like I think with some of the concepts that I did, right? Because I'm still a bit of a rookie with the whole kind of 3D pipeline and stuff, and I know I can kind of get carried away with everything, and when I start getting like maybe not even a detailed render or something, but I try and kind of take you through the whole like matte painting process. So when I start using photos, right, I get scared of not of painting over them. So I tend to just
it's like a really typical problem when you have like a really nice 3D model or a perfect photo, and like how you can destroy it. Like it will be ugly now if you destroy it. So yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, those are still the troubles at the moment.
Yeah, but I got you in this type of stuff. And for the thing you are painting, because like I am watching at the moment, I kinda have no idea how you did this. I guess why it's Diablo. It's kind of obvious because like we were discussing Diablo for most of the time, and
So I thought.
Yeah, and for a small like side story, like once I found some sort of a Diablo 1 Hellfire mode, and I like sent it to Najmul and said like, okay, we gotta try this. Maybe you can play like online and everything. And it was working for him. It was not working for me, and I pretty much ended up like making you play Diablo 1 for I have no idea how long, but you were spamming a lot of different photos from your new character back then. You remember the mode?
Well, me, yeah, I think it was. You know, what was it, that mod, the
Awaken
Diablo?
or something like this, I guess.
It was the Beelzebub.
Oh, Beelzebub, yeah, and it was not working for me,
Yeah.
and I was like, shit, so now we can't play, and now you will play, and now I feel guilty because like you're playing instead of painting or working or anything, and was like, okay, my fault now. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's the trouble with me. Like I'm always caught in the past. So any like mods, like really good mods of like old games, right?
Yeah.
I just dive back into
It happens to me like at the moment because I like used to play Gothic 2, like as I told you before, like the game really typical for like Poland, Germany, and Russia. And I discovered there is a mod which is adding like 250 hours to the whole game, and I was like, I should not download this mod, I should not install it. And at the moment I have like 20 hours on record or something like this, and I'm kind of like, okay, I should not play this mode, but it's so nice to like revisit all the places like in the HD, in 4K and everything, because now this game kind of looks like how I remembered it. And when I like run the game from like in its original state, I was like, this is no way this game looked like this. It was way nicer, and like this mode kind of made it look exactly how I remembered it. So it is nice. So yeah.
I don't know if I should be listening to this from you actually, because you've got me on a few things actually. So if I lose another couple of months into Gothic 2, then and if I get fired for more work and stuff, then I'm going to be blaming you.
But to be honest, if you will waste like a lot of time for Gothic, it's kind of worth it. So.
Hey, and you know what? From you, it wasn't just games, was it?
It may be some films also, I guess.
It was the books.
Yeah, the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Yeah, it's also the book that the same friend told me about, like the one we were like playing Diablo and drawing Diablo together and everything. He is also watching Nicolas there. He introduced me to the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and later I was like, this kind of cool book, and everybody were like, oh, the 10-tome book with the 1,000 pages and everything. Yeah, it's cool. Go read it and something like this. I was like pretty much bothering pretty much every single person I met. Like, this book is cool. Go read it. So yeah.
Oh my god.
I also did exactly the same for Evan Mel Amundsen and for Peter Hahn and for Diego Gisberto Lorenz and for Spiridon at Promised Land, because they were kind of like talking about books at some point when we were like chatting and everything, and I was like, Malazan Book of the Fallen, like you have to remember this title, like write it down, read the book, because they are amazing. And the worst part is I found even more amazing book, because it was a book that inspired Malazan Book of the Fallen, and it's called Black Company from Glenn Cook, and it also it has like 8 or 10 tomes, and to be honest, it's even better because it's a little bit more local. Like there's not this many like epic stories. It's kind of better written in my opinion, or at least better translated. So yeah. So later I will drop you the title, so I can waste a little bit more time for you. So yeah. But also coming.
I got to the third book of Malazan.
Yeah.
The third book. I think it was called, I can't remember, the something chains.
I have it somewhere.
Chains of something. I can't remember.
House of Chains? Or Home of Chains?
No, I can't, no.
Something with chains, okay.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure it was anyway. Yeah, something with chains.
Yeah, I have it on my shell, but it's called Dom Łańcuchów, which basically translates to House of Chains, but it sounds kind of goofy in English language.
Okay.
But yeah, but for the games, like, because we started discussing games, what were like your top favorite games all time. Like I know about Diablo, and I kind of know like you like Street Fighter. This is like the two games I am sure you like.
Yeah, anybody who's kind of like seen my work from before, like, you know, they've seen me do like tons of Street Fighter fan art. So yeah, Street Fighter was one of them growing up. But RPGs, man, you know, I love my RPGs. Like I've recently I kind of played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and oh my gosh, that was like the best remake ever.
Yeah, it's kind of funny
like
because
ultimate.
Final Fantasy like never came to Poland. It was like one of the games that never pretty much visited Poland. Like I know no one who played it, like in Poland.
Really?
Yeah, it was like because it was mostly for consoles, I guess.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, you know, that's interesting.
Yeah,
actually,
in
because
Poland there were no consoles. Like you only had a PC, and all the PC games. It was the stuff in the Poland, but the consoles were never popular in here. At the moment they are like gaining popularity, but back then like nobody on the console. Only like these old Pegasus things, or pretty much something where you had all these like pixel games or anything. But yeah, but continue on the games.
Oh, right. Yeah, you know, it's interesting that because I was talking to my cousin today or yesterday, and we was talking about this other game that I'm like really excited about now, and that I used to play growing up as well. I don't know if you've heard of a game called Suikoden or Suikoden.
No.
It's a JRPG. It's got it's a bit of a cult. It's got like a cult following, right? Suikoden.
Co?
So this game had like, you know, I think it's got like a big fan base in like you know, maybe East Asia or you know, the people who love playing like JRPGs and stuff, right? Because I grew up with like tons of JRPG type of games. So recently they've kind of, all of the old creators from Suikoden 1 and 2 they got back together and they launched a Kickstarter for their new game, right, called Eiyuden Chronicle. And I think it's probably one of the biggest successes of a game on Kickstarter in history. Like I think it managed to reach like 2.5 million, that stretch goal in like 2-3 days or something. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, my cousin told me that game, Suikoden 3 and 4, didn't come out in UK, whereas it came out in America, right? And so I didn't really play it. My cousin managed to play it through, I don't know if he like had some hacked version or something like that, but yeah, he played it. But yeah, I was going to say, like, without playing some of these games, right, me personally, I don't know what kind of artist I would have been, because
that's right.
I know
like this is one of the points like I kind of were always like not believing, because like all the pros, like especially Feng Zhu, like he maybe not says you shouldn't not play games, and he explains why he explains why he says why you shouldn't play games, just basically to not waste time, to like work on your basics and pretty much everything. But in my opinion, like playing games is kind of important if you like want to be an artist, because, or especially if you want to like be an artist in the game industry or movie industry, because like you kind of have to know what games are to make them, in my opinion, to be honest. Like it is a little bit of wasting time, because like you sit and just pretty much play and enjoy yourself, but I kind of think like enjoying yourself by playing games and relaxing while doing it, and later maybe getting inspired to draw something, like it's not a bad thing. Like I'm not saying about the marathons, for example, that I have done, for example, for like 3 days of gaming with pretty much non-stop without any type of break. But sometimes like you just need to play some games, and that's all. Like they are not that bad in terms of like progressing card or something, I think.
I think, you know, you can balance it all out, and especially now I feel as though if you want to kind of get into, I don't know, like the gaming kind of concept art industry and stuff like that, I think it's really important to have an awareness of kind of what games are capable of these days, you know, and the artwork that goes into the games and how it might look.
Yeah, but also it's kind of different thing if you know the technical capabilities, because like soon we will like reach the point where pretty much everything will be possible from the like visual standpoint of view. But
Oh yeah,
when you want to make games or work in games, you kinda need to play them to have the idea of what like looks cool in games and what actually is cool for gamers. So like I kind of have hard time imagining someone who can come up with something like the gamers will really like if if he is not a gamer himself. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it correctly.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I get you, man.
Like it will really broaden your spectrum of view in terms of design and everything. So I'm maybe not saying like you will design a better house in game or something like this, but sometimes a concept can be quite cool just because like you put in there something that the gamers will like or something like this.
Mhm.
So I kind of
Yeah.
guess the games are not that bad as they tell all the times.
Yeah, it's about having that inspiration, isn't it? You know, you gotta be inspired somehow.
Yeah, and also if you say like you are getting inspired from the game, just don't lie to yourself and pretty much just actually be inspired by it. So as we can see right now, like you are doing Diablo, so you would not be able to paint Diablo if you had not spent like thousands of hours slaying Diablo in the game. For I have no
Yeah.
idea how many times. Probably it was thousands.
Yeah, I think, we talk about it from the perspective of, being inspired and stuff as well. But I think maybe even on the perspective of like you and me, like a big reason why you and me, like we get along really well and stuff, because we've got like, a lot of common ground in terms of like games and, certain, influences and stuff that we've had and we kind of take an appreciation of together, So I think in terms of like networking and stuff and for people, I think that's like a networking, let's not kid ourselves, networking is a huge kind of thing when it comes to like say getting into the industry and
Yeah,
stuff,
that's right. Like
So,
you have to have some skill, but you also need to know people. Like, of course, it's not 100% needed, but it is needed to know people. So it will make your life way easier. And also, it's one of the reasons that I used to like, I kind of still do, like commenting on a lot of different artist pages, and I am like, Jesus Christ, it's actually really cool. So it's not just me doing all this stuff for them to like me. Like I actually enjoy the content they are putting, but I really like to meet new people in terms of like from the artists, because like you can learn so much just by watching their artworks. And usually with the artists, as you said, it's really easy to find a common ground with terms of all the topics, because you can discuss movies, you can discuss artists, you can discuss games, and it's pretty much limitless source of topics to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, I don't know, that's one big part of like, I think me growing up, I think me, if it weren't for me and my cousins, right, and my cousins, right, me and my cousins, we used to love drawing like nerdy stuff as kids, man. I remember we used to draw like Street Fighter stuff, and a car game we used to play growing up called Twisted Metal. We used to draw like little concepts, as like we were like 12, 13 years old. We used to draw like concepts for that, and like Mortal Kombat and what is it? And like Pokemon cards and stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
everybody drew this.
yeah, so we had all of that kind of growing up, and I think
It's also like one of the things, like if you are a kid, like nobody pretty much expects from you like to design a really cool monster. So pretty much games can also like give you the general idea of like, okay, you can draw this, and it will be okay, and you can like redraw whatever inspires you. So I think it's also one of the benefits of the games, because you kind of start to build your like visual library pretty much early on with all the things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
and for the movies, like, what are your favorite movies?
Movies. I think I've got you know, I'm a typical 90s. You know, I think I'm still stuck in the past where I love my Lord of the Rings and Terminator 2s and good old cult classic action movies. So I think that would be my let me think. I can't think. What movies come to mind now? Lord of the Rings, Matrix,
So like the all-time classics and
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. I can't. Mad Max recently. I could talk to you all day about Mad Max. That was like, it reminded me of the nostalgic old kind of movies like Terminator 2, where it was just perfect for me, like perfect.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, even like the old Mad Maxes, like they have this vibe to them. Like it's really nice to revisit those movies, because like you can clearly see it's an old movie, but it has this something that the new movies like don't have. And yeah, older movies were way more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yep, I agree with you there, man. You don't make them like the old school anymore.
But the new Mad Max was still okay. It was like packed with action, but I guess it was okay. And changing the topic a little bit, like, because it's a really typical question, but what are your plans, for example, for the future in terms of like being an artist?
So let me think. I would like to kind of work on my own IP, right? I have these plans and stuff, and I think maybe I don't have a good consistent work ethic towards like working on this like IP kind of stuff that I've always wanted to do. But yeah, I'd like to I've got like IP ideas in my mind, right? And I just kind of wanted to build like my own like designs and world stuff kind of around it. That's in terms of my own like art stuff, right? In terms of like where I'm at work as a concept artist in in our studio, right? Like that we've our company's grown, it's been growing quite a lot over the last few years, and we've kind of jumped into film as well, right? So we've kind of, I don't know if you've seen like this behind the scenes footage of like Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, I saw it with all the giant screens that were like displaying all the world around the actors.
Yeah. So like our studio, we've kind of set something like that up as well. And
nice.
My colleague, he's kind of like posted that up himself and stuff, right? Now, the kind of films side of things like that, our kind of company's working on, like this stuff is like, it's really cool. I'd love to get into film, and because I'm working on the games side of things, right? So working on the film and doing like concepts for that and stuff would be
nice. Because you, like, back in the days, you had your personal IP. It was Killuminati, I guess, or something like this.
Sorry, it was. Oh yeah. I had that, and that's it. Like I've got like something like that I've got kind of going still, and but yeah, it's just I haven't managed to put it all together yet and stuff. So
I remember there's some images, like you did some images for it, like, and for your IP, for example, because I kind of guess like it's not really set up so you can just talk about it like freely, because there are so much work to do, as far as I understood correctly at the moment. But what type of IP would you like to make?
So with all of that kind of theme in mind, right? If I can go back, what another game that I loved as a kid, right, was these turn-based RPGs, right? There's like Final Fantasy Tactics, right? There's another game, right, called Vandal Hearts, right? And oh mate, I complete this game like a million times, right? I loved it. It was like the good old, Final Fantasy Tactics games, right?
Yeah, I
isometric.
am familiar with the style of the game, but never played them.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of always loved that isometric view. That's probably why I kind of like StarCraft and I kind of like Diablo and stuff, right? But the art style in this was really cool as well. It had like this very like stylized kind of cool proportions, and it didn't look like your typical like anime type of proportions either. It was very unique, And so I kind of wanted to do, like some kind of design work or build up, my own project around that kind of thing. And again, I haven't put enough time into it that I would like to, but that's like a pipe
dream.
It's
also kind of funny thing, because more and more artists, like the more artists I like watch and follow and everything, more of them pretty much tend to go with all the stylized things. Like a lot of them are going to this Ghibli-like style of drawing, painting, and simplifying shapes and everything. So I guess it will kind of fit to the thing you just talk.
Yeah, with all of this crazy technology that's improving, man, you've got VR, AR and stuff. When in our studio, because we've had like VR games and stuff, it's the first time I kind of got introduced to VR, and I had to tinker with like Gravity Sketch and Medium and stuff as well. Yeah, I even bought my own like VR kit at home, but the only reason why I don't use it is because my glasses don't fit into the headset. So it's just ridiculous.
That's a bad luck.
Yeah, I know. I've got to replace my glasses or buy lens inserts, which cost like another bag of money. So I'm just like, let's leave it. Collecting dust.
Also, often I hear the opinion like all the VR stuff and everything and all the new technologies, for example, this NVIDIA Gaugan or Art Breeder or something, like they are really cool, but in the end, like, it's kind of overwhelming, and a lot of people tend to like stick with all the drawing and painting and sculpting digitally, because like back in the days they also said like the ZBrush won't catch up, because like why anybody would like to like sculpt in the PC, but it was like a niche that was missing. But I think like even though the technology will like go forward, like still a lot of people will just stay with the traditional like type of working, like say they will just paint or just draw, because I kind of feel like, for example, for the Diablo sketch at the moment, you wouldn't need anything more pretty much than the Photoshop. So I guess all the NVIDIA stuff or all the VR stuff won't really help you with this sketch, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Like, I think, sketching 2D and stuff will always be there. I think the comic book industry and stuff is still, growing. The indie art community, I think, is still growing. They have tons of awesome indie games coming out. Like, I mean, I get like YouTube recommendations of all of these awesome 2D like pixel type of art coming out on Switch and stuff, and these are the exact type of games that I would love to play myself.
And it's also like with all the indie games, it's like the amazing opportunity for pretty much a lot of artists, because like you don't have to stick with all the AAA titles. You can pretty much work on your own game, and there's a huge chance like you actually will make this game, because it's like getting easier and easier.
Oh yeah, 100%. And we've seen some of these guys do it. Like I've been, I told you about, I think he's your guy as well, Vitaly. He was on a stream, and he's working on that Mortal Shell.
Yeah, Vitaly Bulgarov. Like, I guess it was like his idea to make this game.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but like, I think I think we're seeing an era now where key artists, right, who have got a very unique style and stuff, right, set up their own small studios with like a handful of developers, and they can make a game. You can actually somehow build a game.
But with the Vitaly, I was like a little bit thinking he had a jump start because like his skill level is so extremely high. Like I can't imagine him actually doing something like this, like being a one-man army. Especially after like watching his like process videos where he models something. So in the time span where I was maybe able to think about something, he was like finishing a turbo good like complex model in 3D. So I guess for him it is it's not easy, but it's way more possible. Like it's more available for him to make a game. But what I meant is like a really casual human, like for example, if we will like at the moment team up and decided to make a game, like we will be able to produce like a lot of different concepts and everything. And I don't think it will be really hard to actually find a team and to make a game. Like you don't really need to be like the best top artists of the world to make a game at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've got a colleague at work, right? His name is Lucas Craner, and he's kind of had his own project, right, where he's actually trying to make a Diablo type of game. He's a big fan of Diablo as well, Path of Exile and stuff, right? And he's making a shout out to him and his project, right? he's making a game called Deicides, right, where it's like a cyberpunk version of Diablo, right?
Nice.
And when he was like working on this and he was showing me, he kind of posts some stuff on his YouTube and on his blog and stuff, right? But like it was the first I've ever heard of something like that. It was like, wow, cyberpunk and like the isometric Diablo type of point of view. And I've never heard of
Press escape 2 times because you're typing in the top left corner to the feather window.
Oh, right. See, thank you, man. It's always good to have a second set of eyes on the screen.
Especially since the screen is quite big, so that you can there's no way to navigate for the whole screen at the same time.
Yeah, that would have perplexed me for at least half an hour, man. Thank you.
I know this pain because I'm constantly having troubles with it, especially with all the Windows keys. When I'm trying to press B, for example, and it's like makes the slider from the top like go down because it thinks it's a shortcut, and I'm like, no, I want a brush. I don't want a pop-up window or anything. I want a brush. So it's nice.
So I was going to say, so my friend, he's starting this project thing, right? And he was doing that, but then recently there was and the Xbox Series X reveal and their whole lineup of games, right? And I don't know if you've seen this, right? Because I should have actually spoke to you about this. But can you remember seeing a game called The Descent or The Ascent?
I remember the title, but nothing more.
It was literally just that. It was a cyberpunk Diablo game, right? And
I guess I saw like several times some sort of a game where it was like kind of looking like a cyberpunk Diablo, but I have no memory, like no recollection of it. Like,
oh, dude, it looks amazing. That's like out of all of the next gen games, that looks so good. And I'm not like a big cyberpunk like sci-fi fan. I am a little bit, but I don't know. I just wasn't into it as much as like fantasy and stuff, right? Now, when I see that game though, I'm like, whoa, it looks amazing. But the reason why I wanted to mention that was because, again, it was made by a brand new small studio, led by a very famous key artist who's influencing, the whole art direction. And have you heard of the 3D guy Tor Frick?
Oh, I guess not.
He's a hard surface guy, and he does, like very cyberpunky type of stuff, right?
I have no idea.
And but like, dude's a killer, and he's like the principal lead of like the kind of the game, and and the design again, it looks really awesome. And I hate to say this because my mate, he's kind of like this was meant to be his project. You know, this was meant to be his idea and stuff and everything, right? And now you have like another like badass artist and a team that they've, you know, done exactly that. But
yeah, it was a little bit similar with me and the Mortal Shell, because when I was like doing my master diploma, I had this idea to create kind of like a mashup between like Diablo, Baldur's Gate, Gothic, and Dark Souls, and like all my favorite games, to create a world for it, like to make another Souls games, like with all the RPG and everything. And when I was like wrapping up, like in the middle of making my whole diploma, like setting all the world for the IP and everything, like they announced Mortal Shell, and I was like, shit, like they were first. But I guess I will just continue. It looks so good. Yeah, I guess I will just continue because like, why not? To be honest. So maybe one day it will be a game. So we will see.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say quickly. You know, my phone. You know, I'm kind of doing the webcam thing off the phone. Right, the battery. I told you the battery is running out. I think I've got like 5 minutes left on the webcam.
I also think we can wrap this up. This stream. Maybe we'll do like another one, like at some point, because it's already almost hour and a half. So
these times.
Yeah. Time
flies.
That's right. So I guess it can be pretty much all. I guess I think we will like left a lot of topic, like we will not leave like a lot of topics for the future streams, because I believe they will happen, because maybe if I won't find like new artists for the streams, I will like revisit the one that have already done the streams. And the next one will probably also work way better, because there will not be this many technical problems. So, but it still, I guess, went pretty smoothly. So,
yeah, and you know, if you want me back and stuff, mate, I'm happy.
I will definitely will call you at some point or talk with you. So yeah, I guess thanks for the sketch, because it's like really a pleasant thing to watch. If you would like, you can send me this in this stage, or just finish it up, or do whatever with it, however you will like it. I think it's still amazing and it's great. It's Diablo, like we discussed before, to do some maybe Heroes of Might and Magic. So maybe next time we will do some Heroes of Might and Magic type of stuff. But yeah, it will be great. So thanks for watching, and thanks for everybody who was watching the stream. It was not crazy amount of people, but it was some of them. So I guess so if you want to add anything or something, just add it, and I guess we will go to the end screen.
All right, no, thanks for giving me the opportunity, man. You know, it's good having a chat and everything, man. And
it also was a pleasure to meet you like more in person instead of like chatting. So good.
We gotta do this more often, man.
Yeah, so I guess thanks for watching, everybody, and I guess we will end the streaming here. So thanks for wrapping everything up, and thanks for us on stream. And I press the end button on this.